Stop. Don't scroll. Don't skip. Because what you're about to hear in the next 60 seconds might be the most important thing you've heard in years. Something has been trying to reach you, not today, not last week, for years. And you keep missing it. That phone call that came out of nowhere. That dream you woke up from at 3 a.m. with your heart pounding. That one thought that keeps returning to your mind, no matter how hard you try to silence it. You called it stress. You called it anxiety. You called it random. But what if none of it was random? What if every single one of those moments was a message? Because here's what nobody tells you. The universe doesn't send angels. It doesn't part the sky. It whispers, it nudges, it places people, moments, and feelings directly in your path. And then it waits to see if you're paying attention. And most people are not paying attention. Most people are too busy, too numb, too distracted to feel what's being placed right in front of them. But you're different. Because you clicked on this video, and I don't think that was an accident either. Something guided you here. Something inside you knew it was time to finally open your eyes, face the truth, and understand the signs that have been surrounding you your entire life. There was a moment in your life, you remember it, even if you've tried to forget it, where everything felt off, where something deep inside your chest was screaming at you, that this path, this place, this person was not where you were supposed to be. But you stayed because you didn't trust the feeling, because nobody taught you how to listen to it. And that's where it all began. Not with a dramatic event, not with a tragedy. It began with a whisper you chose to ignore, a quiet pull in your soul that you silenced with logic, with fear, with the opinions of people who didn't even know their own purpose, let alone yours. You told yourself you were being practical. You told yourself you were being responsible. But the truth is, you were being afraid. And fear has a way of dressing itself up as logic so perfectly that you stop questioning it. Fear told you to shrink. Fear told you to settle. Fear told you that what you felt inside was just imagination, and you believed it. Meanwhile, the signs kept coming. Quietly, patiently, relentlessly. The repetitive numbers you kept seeing at the exact moments you were questioning your life. The books that fell open to the exact page you needed to read. The conversations that found you when you were on the edge of giving up. Conversations that felt less like coincidence and more like intervention. Did you ever stop to ask yourself why? Did you ever sit in the silence long enough to feel what those moments were trying to tell you? Because those moments weren't accidents. They were appointments. The universe operates on a frequency that most human beings are too distracted to tune into. It doesn't use loud voices. It uses synchronicities. Those strange, beautiful, perfectly timed moments that make the rational mind uncomfortable because they cannot be explained away. And the more you ignored them, the louder they became. Think about the relationships that ended and left you devastated, only for you to realize months later that staying would have destroyed you. Think about the job you lost, the plan that collapsed, the dream that seemed to die, only to make space for something you couldn't have imagined yet. Every ending was a setup. Every loss was a lesson wearing a disguise. You were never broken. You were never forgotten. You were never left behind by life. You were being redirected, over and over again, towards something that actually matched the size of your soul. But redirection only works if you're willing to finally open your eyes and see, and that is exactly what this journey is going to ask of you. Not perfection, not certainty, just the courage to look back at your own life with honest eyes, and finally recognize what was always trying to guide you forward. The signs were never hidden. You just weren't ready to see them until now. There was a specific moment, not a season, not a phase, a specific, unforgettable moment where you stopped trusting yourself completely, where you handed the steering wheel of your entire life over to doubt. And from that moment forward, nothing felt certain anymore. You started second-guessing everything, every decision, every feeling, every instinct that rose up inside you. And the worst part, you don't even remember exactly when it happened. It wasn't announced. Nobody warned you. One day you were a child who believed in everything. In magic, in dreams, in the feeling that you were destined for something extraordinary. And then slowly, quietly, the world talked you out of it. People you trusted handed you their fears and called it advice. They looked at your dreams and called them unrealistic. They saw the fire burning inside you, and instead of feeding it, they threw water on it. And because you loved them, because you respected them, you let them. You shrunk yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for someone like you. But here is what they never told you. Every person who discouraged your dream was speaking from the graveyard of their own abandoned ones. Every person who told you to be realistic was someone who had already given up on being extraordinary. They weren't protecting you. They were projecting onto you. And you deserved so much better than borrowed limitations. So you buried your instincts. You silenced your inner voice. You built a life that looked acceptable on the outside, while something inside you quietly suffocated. And every morning you woke up with that hollow feeling, that invisible weight sitting on your chest, and you couldn't explain it to anyone because even you didn't fully understand it. That feeling had a name. It was your soul refusing to stop fighting for you, because your soul never forgot what your mind tried to erase. It kept the memory of every dream you abandoned. It held on to every version of you that you were too afraid to become. It stored every sign, every nudge, every divine whisper that passed through your life, waiting for the day you would finally be ready to receive them. Your soul has been the most loyal thing in your entire existence, and you've been at war with it. But that war ends today. Because the very fact that you still feel that pull, that restlessness, that hunger, that quiet voice that refuses to go silent, means it is not too late. It means the fire never actually went out. It only went underground, waiting for you to stop suffocating it and finally give it the oxygen it deserves. You didn't lose yourself. You just buried yourself under everything the world told you to be. And now, slowly, painfully, beautifully, you are beginning to dig your way back. Not to who you were before the world changed you, but to who you were always meant to become before the world got the chance to interrupt you. The journey back to yourself is the most important journey you will ever take. And it starts with one simple but terrifying act: choosing to trust yourself again. You have carried weight that was never yours to carry. You have cried in silences that nobody witnessed. You have smiled in rooms full of people while something inside you was slowly falling apart. And through all of it, every single painful chapter, you kept asking the same desperate question: why is this happening to me? But you were asking the wrong question. The real question, the one that changes everything, was never why is this happening to me? It was always what is this happening to build in me? Because pain without purpose is just suffering. But pain with understanding becomes the most powerful transformation a human being can experience. And your pain had a purpose the entire time. Think about the betrayal that shattered you. The person you gave everything to who walked away without looking back. It destroyed something in you. Yes. It broke a version of you that believed in people without boundaries, that loved without protection, that gave without discernment. And that version of you needed to be broken. Not because you were wrong to love, but because you deserved a love that didn't require you to disappear. Think about the failure that humiliated you. The moment everything you built collapsed in front of the very people you were trying to prove yourself to. You wanted the ground to swallow you whole. You replayed it over and over in the dark, convinced it was proof that you were never enough. But failure was never the opposite of success. Failure was always the architect of it. Every great person you have ever admired was first a broken person who refused to stay broken. Every story of triumph you have ever been moved by began in a chapter of complete devastation. The difference between people who rise and people who stay down is not talent. It is not luck. It is not even strength. It is the decision to find meaning in the wreckage. And meaning changes everything. The moment you stop seeing your past as a collection of wounds and start seeing it as a collection of lessons, your entire relationship with your own story shifts. The betrayal becomes the boundary teacher. The failure becomes the foundation. The loss becomes the liberation. The breakdown becomes the breakthrough. Nothing that happened to you was wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single sleepless night. Because the universe is not careless. It does not break things without intention. Every crack in your foundation was placed there to remove what was weak, to test what was strong, and to make space for something that could actually hold the weight of the life you were born to live. You were not being destroyed, you were being reconstructed. So look back at everything that broke you. Not with bitterness, not with shame, not with the exhausting weight of regret. Look back with the eyes of someone who now understands that every single piece of their pain was a precise, intentional, perfectly placed step on the path toward the person they were always destined to become. You were never falling apart. You were falling into place. There is a version of you that has never been defeated. A version that was never touched by the rejection, never shrunk by the criticism, never silenced by the fear. A version that remembers exactly who you were before the world started editing you. And that version has been waiting, patiently, quietly, powerfully, for you to finally come back home. Not back to your past, back to your truth. You have spent so much of your life performing strength when you were exhausted, performing happiness when you were hollow, performing confidence when inside you were drowning in uncertainty. You became so skilled at showing the world a version of yourself that was acceptable, that somewhere along the way you forgot which version was actually real. But your soul never forgot. It has been keeping score of every moment you abandoned yourself, and every time you felt that unexplainable emptiness, that hollow ache in the middle of a life that looked perfectly fine from the outside. That was your authentic self knocking on the door. That was the real you, pressing against the walls of the person you pretended to be, reminding you that comfort is not the same as fulfillment, that survival is not the same as living. You were breathing. But were you truly alive? Because there is a monumental difference between existing and living. Existing is waking up and going through the motions, checking boxes, meeting expectations, collecting days like they are something to survive rather than something to devour. Living is waking up on fire. Living is feeling the electricity of purpose running through your veins. Living is doing the thing that makes you feel most like yourself, even when everything around you says it makes no sense. And deep down, you know exactly what that thing is. You have always known. It has never truly left you. That dream you dismissed as too big. It wasn't too big. You were just surrounded by small thinking for too long. That passion you buried under practicality, it did not die. It went dormant, waiting for the season when you would finally give it permission to grow. The calling on your life does not expire. It does not give up on you, even when you give up on it. And this is the moment, right now in this breath, in this exact second of your life, where everything begins to shift. Not because your circumstances changed, not because the world suddenly became easier, but because something inside you is waking up. Something ancient and powerful and completely undefeatable is rising from beneath all the layers of doubt and fear and borrowed limitations. That something is you. The real you. The original you. The version of you that was always meant to exist. Before the rejection reshaped you. Before the heartbreak hardened you. Before the failures frightened you into smallness. That version is not gone. That version is not a memory. That version is the most alive thing inside you right now, pressing against your chest, rising in your throat, showing up in the tears you cry when you encounter someone living the life you know belongs to you. Those tears are not sadness. They are recognition. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, the perfect version of yourself that has no fear and no scars. That version does not exist. The version that exists right now, wounded, uncertain, imperfect, and still standing, that is the version capable of changing everything. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are exactly where the breakthrough begins. You made it here, not by accident, not by coincidence. Every road that seemed like a dead end, every detour that felt like punishment, every moment you were convinced you were losing, it was all quietly, precisely, invisibly leading you to this exact point in your journey. The signs were never against you. They were always for you. Every single one of them was a breadcrumb on the path back to yourself. So here is what I need you to do. Not tomorrow. Not when things get easier. Not when you feel ready. Because that feeling of ready will never arrive on its own. Right now in this moment, make the decision to stop living like someone who is waiting for their life to begin. Your life is not ahead of you. Your life is happening. And every breath you take from this moment forward is a chance to finally live it on your own terms. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for your hunger. Stop dimming your light so others feel comfortable in the dark. The world does not need another person who played it safe and died with their music still locked inside them. The world needs you. Fully. Unapologetically. Completely. The signs have always been there. They were in every ending that freed you. Every loss that redirected you. Every breakdown that rebuilt you. Every morning you woke up and chose to keep going when everything inside you wanted to stop. That was not weakness surviving. That was greatness being forged. That was your destiny refusing to let you settle for less than what you were born for. You were chosen for this story before you even understood what the story was. And now, finally, you are ready to own it. Walk forward. Trust the signs. Become who you always were. The world has been waiting long enough.